Hello and welcome to the show. This is episode 11 of the Life of Gaming podcast. My name is Jamie, and I will be your captain on this cruise of video game awesomeness. And you all know my co-host, the curly to my Mo, Mr. Josh Brandt.
Hello, sir.
How you doing today, sir?
Curly. What does Curly do again?
Curly's
I can't remember.
go,
Why wise guy, eh?
And the
There
Three
we go.
Stooges, they obviously need their Larry. And so we have back our YouTube Let's Player, Matt, my brother-in-law. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
Kind of disappointed. Did I have a name? Was I?
You were
was
Larry, sir.
I? Larry.
The great late Larry.
Oh, he's the one that kind of steps in the middle and tries to stop him, right?
Which is the one that has like?
No, that's Mo.
He's bald
What?
through the center of his head.
That's Larry.
Oh, sweet.
Oh,
That fits me pretty
There,
well.
there you go. Oh, boy. Well, you guys are probably wondering, why are there's going to be quite a few people on this show, and that's because we are starting our E3 extravaganza.
E3 hype train.
Well, to kick off this awesome 3-episode E3 experience, we're actually starting with Nintendo today. And each one of these shows, we're actually going to be bringing a guest back from the past. So, introduced today, our honorary fourth stooge, our shimp, if you will, the Geek Guru himself, Bobby Pauls.
Shimp.
You left him.
That's not even right, man. That's just not even right.
Hey,
What is up, fellas?
Hey,
Not too much.
How
good to
you
have you
doing,
back,
Bobby? I
man.
mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
You came on
Yes, it's
episode
been a while,
2, sir.
Yes, that's when everything went downhill for you guys in a bad way.
That is
And you haven't
absolutely
been able
right.
to recover since. And then you got bold and brought me back. I don't know
Right,
why,
you're like,
but you know.
We have to save
we
our
gotta
numbers.
get our
What
numbers
do we
back.
do?
Yeah, our numbers.
Is that what it is? Is that what it
That's
is?
right. We put our heads together. We're like, we'll bring Bobby back.
Oh, Lord.
Well, Bobby.
You're sadly mistaken, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, the fun thing about this, we actually had you as our first guest, and it was a prediction show about what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah, E3. And we
So,
did all the consoles.
That's right. And so this episode is going to be specifically for Nintendo. So hopefully you have your Nintendo E3 predictions ready to roll.
I am more than prepared, trust me.
Good. Well, I know a lot has been going on with the Geek Guru lately. Why don't you just sort of update our listeners and sort of let them know what's going on?
We actually kind of turned it into a collaboration type deal. We started Team Geek, which we brought in Mark and Colin from the Warp Whistle. Toby had been doing stuff for us as it was, but his wife Karina is now doing things.
Awesome. I mean, yep.
and Karina and Toby are directly with the Geek Guru.
Okay.
And Colin and Mark. Carabin? I think it's Carabin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm not, then
Caribbean?
Mark deal with it.
No, I'm just kidding.
So it's they're still doing their thing. I don't tell them what to do. They don't tell me what to do. It's just more or less a collaboration type deal. And then Alan and Scott from Full Fat Gaming, they also came into the mix. And it's just more or less just a way for us to kind of push each other and help each other and cross-brand and cross-promote, and we do things together as well. Like, we do our separate things, and then we come together, and we do silly, stupid dance videos.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that dance video, man, especially Alan at the end, man.
Yeah,
Best part of the video.
it was fun. It was fun. We're going to do more stuff like that. I think this summer we're going to get into a video cast / podcast as Team Geek, which will be like a bi-weekly type deal. So we're still working on the kinks on all
I've
that.
heard that starting bi-weekly is the best way to go.
Well, we just the problem is we don't want to interfere with what we're actually doing. With me, we're doing I'm still doing the videos on YouTube and all that stuff, and I don't want to steal anybody's thunder. I do have a big contest going up tomorrow, so I just wanted to say, like, if you guys are interested, check that out. It's a pretty big contest we're doing, or a giveaway. Actually, it's not even a contest; it's a giveaway. And then we're also doing a giveaway within the group. I just announced that today, the Facebook group that we have.
Awesome.
So, and that's going to be a collaboration with myself and Mark from the Warp Whistle. So by the time people hear this, they'll be able to just go to the group and check it out and stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on.
And I know you had some pictures up earlier, like I was saying before, that Lucina amiibo. That's going to be part of the contest, right?
That's part of the contest. There's a lot. I've got Jigglypuff. I've got the Splatoon 3-pack. I've got Marth. Man. I've got Lucina and Robin.
You are covered.
Yeah, not me. Everybody else is covered. If somebody wins it, they're covered.
You're just like a Bobby Claus over here.
Bobby Claus.
How about that Wii U, Bobby? Nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Hey, that's going up. That's going to go up eventually. Right. But that was a summertime deal. My last name's Paul, so I always joke around at Christmas and say my name is Santa Paul's. And, so it's
I like that. That's good.
As corny as that is. But,
I think that's better than Bobby Claus.
Yeah, I'll take that any day.
That works. Well, actually, speaking of giveaways, we're actually going to be doing something kind of special on this episode. Since this is our Nintendo episode, if you've been looking for a Silver Mario Amiibo, because first of all, we know how much Brant loves his amiibo. So
I'm still waiting for that plaid Mario.
Right. Well, if you are looking for that silver amiibo, make sure to stick around. This is actually an idea from my wife. So I'm like, this is a good idea. So we're going to try this out, see if it works. So stick around to the end of the show and we'll let you know how you can win a Silver Mario Amiibo. So hopefully that'll get you to stay to the end of the show.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, because I know I'm not going to keep them right to the end of the show, so that's at least something to entice them.
Well, guys, I guess we'll get started in our news section and what we like to call Captain's Log. Okay, guys, there's not much news right now with E3 going on pretty soon, just only a few weeks away. But real quick, I just thought I'd, pick out a few news stories I've heard and just kind of see what you guys think about it. We always start with PlayStation here. One thing
that was number one, right?
That's right. It is. It is the number one. That's actually kind of true. I never thought about that. We actually have PlayStation, then Xbox, then Nintendo, and that's kind of how the systems are right now. I mean, that Wii U is going to come up and stomp them all someday, right?
Yes.
Listen, if it wasn't for the DS family, I think Nintendo would be way lagging. So
yeah, they're hurting a little bit. But just real quick to start with some PlayStation news. I don't know if any of you guys ever played the Darksider series, but a lot of remasters have been coming out lately, and on a website, Darksiders 2 remastered showed up for PlayStation 4. And people didn't know if that was a mistake or what was going on with that, but the creators of the game said, "Oh, that is happening. More details are coming soon." Now, it was only listed for PS4, so we don't know if it's going to be multi-console or not. But what about you guys? Have you guys played the Darksider series at all? I guess, Matt, we'll start with you, man.
Wait, is that just Darksiders 1 or 1 and 2?
It's just 2. It's the one where you play as Death, I believe. It's very God of War-like. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. I mean, it was a solid playthrough. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is actually a remake that I would go out and purchase, considering all of us here are budget gamers and we have a limit on what we can actually get. I mean, if you haven't played it, it might be worth it.
Sure.
Like you said, it's a lot like God of War, and if you can't play God of War, then let's say it's coming to Xbox, then it's a good hack and slash. I
agree. I felt like when I heard this news, I'm like, it really would have benefited more on Xbox One because, like you said, PlayStation has that God of War going on, so it's going to kind of compete with its own market, I guess. But what about you, Brant? Did you ever get a chance to play Darksiders at all?
No, I've never played Darksiders 1 or 2, and there's just too many other games to worry about that I'll probably never, down the road when it's, budget game, then I might try it. But yeah, until then, too much more to play, especially that 200 plus hours of The Witcher.
Oh, that's right. well, hey, Bobby, are you into like the kind of hack and slash God of War style games at all?
I never played God of War, but I did play. I mean, I played like Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1, and I did play a little bit of Darksiders. I enjoyed it for what I played. I always got pulled away by something else, but I've been meaning to. Probably this summer I'll dive in and really give it its fair due and stuff. But the graphics looked good. I mean, it played fun. I mean, it was a fun game from what I remember and what I played. So I don't have any qualms about it at all. I think it was cool.
Sure. I mean, for me, I actually played the first Darksiders. I enjoyed it. I never got around to Darksiders 2. So if it does come to Xbox One, I may check it out, especially since we said before, Xbox doesn't really have a series like that. Because, PlayStation has their God of War, and now Nintendo has their Bayonetta. So they both kind of have their action-y, hack-slash platformer kind of games. Xbox doesn't have anything like that.
You're waiting for that Too Human reboot, right?
Yeah, Phantom Dust was supposed to be that Phantom Dust game
Phantom
they were
Dust
going to make.
Wasn't it more like a card battle game?
It was like you had cards, at least the original one, you had cards, and they would set up like certain abilities for you, but it was really like an actual action game. It's just, instead of like leveling up and choosing equipment or anything, an alternative to that was kind of like the cards. From what I understand and looking at it, I never got a chance to play the original one, but after the announcement last year, I looked into it, and it looked kind of fun, but obviously it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Sure. Well, Brant, I've got some bad news for you. This is a news story I heard earlier this week. I don't know if it was an investors meeting or what it was, but PlayStation had come out, and they're talking about the Vita, and they called it a legacy platform.
Yes, the dreaded legacy.
Right. So does that mean PlayStation's pretty much dropping support of this? I mean, are we going to get another game like Uncharted, Golden Abyss, or any of that again on this Vita, or are they moving on to something new? What do you think?
Well, guys, the writing was on the wall. This thing, I mean, it honestly is dead in the water.
Sinking like a rock.
Yeah. As far as AAA titles go, I mean, the amount of games, if you look at the list of upcoming games, is pretty fascinating, actually. I mean, they have a lot of good stuff coming out that's cross-buy, cross-save. So, I mean, you're not really missing out if you have one.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, that ship sailed. I think they realize now that it just wasn't going to sell like they wanted to. Yeah. So, it makes a great companion for if you have a PS4, though.
Sure.
So.
Well, hey, Bobby, what do you think? I mean, you're getting your PS4 with Batman. Would you have
I am
any
wholeheartedly
interest in...
I'm buying one. I'm buying a Vita when I get it.
Awesome.
It'll be after I get the PS4.
Sure.
But for me, I look at it like this. If I have the ability to play my PS4 on the go, I'm for that. And then I like the indie scene right now. Like, I think the indie scene is on fire. There's a lot of great games coming out for the indie, by indie developers. I'm all for it, man.
Sure.
If I can, and I'm a fan of JRPG, so I feel like that system is basically built for me. I've always been a Nintendo fan, so I never really ever got into their portables.
Sure.
Anybody's other portables. So for me, I think that like whatever's going on with PlayStation, I don't think the support's going to last much longer for it. I think they'll keep it around. They're not going to can it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going to see them go after anything big until it starts to move. And I think a price drop's coming as well. So once that happens,
I think the price definitely will drop. Well, I guess the next question is, do you think Sony is just going to totally drop out of doing handhelds? Because, I mean, with the PSP, I mean, they got stomped by the DS. This time they're getting, pretty much getting it handed to them by the 3DS. And now handheld market in general is kind of drying up a little bit. Do you think PlayStation is going to get out of the handheld market altogether?
Me personally, I think it's a mistake if they do. I think that, let's be honest, in terms of Japan, the console market's dead. I mean, it's dead or dying. I don't think it's completely dead, but it's not what it used to be. It wasn't. It's not what it was in the 80s and the 90s. It's definitely taking a beating. With the mobile market really taking off the way it is, I think it's a mistake for Sony to pull away from it. The only reason that Microsoft is doing okay without going into the mobile market is they're non-existent in Japan. So there's no reason for them to even delve into mobile. And let's be honest, they have their mobile with phones and all that stuff. So they don't really necessarily need a handheld per se. But I think that if Sony exits completely, I think it's a drastic mistake for them because we don't know how long the home console market's going to last. I mean, and especially in Japan. the PS4 isn't really on fire over there. The Wii U isn't doing anything over there, and we know Xbox isn't doing anything over there. So
that's an understatement, sir.
yeah, it's bad. I mean, it's worse than the Wii U in the United States. So you can't really, at the end of the day, I think that you're looking at it and you're saying if they exit that market completely, I think they're leaving a lot of money on the table down the line. I think you need to look to the future, not necessarily right now. Right now, they may be hurting, but they need to come up with something. And I think the other thing that hurts them is it's not truly a portable device. Like, you look at anything that Nintendo does, it's compact. That thing is it's just too big, and I think they need to bring it down a little bit.
Sure. Well, hey, Matt, I know that you've never had a Vita or PSP, so that's why I haven't asked you anything about it yet. But, I mean, do you have anything to add onto the whole PS Vita going legacy idea? I
mean, like Josh said, the writing was kind of on the walls. It was not exactly doing well, but I could just... I mean, does Sony have any sort of phones that they do?
They have a phone. They have a phone out now, but it's
Play or something.
It's not doing very well at all either.
I'm just wondering because, from what I'm seeing, the general market is, the 3DS is popular, but it's not even near as popular as the DS, and that's the only handheld that anybody's buying. Everyone else, especially all the kids I see all the time and stuff, they're on their phones doing stuff, and I feel like the smarter market is getting involved in that world, having to buy a whole separate device when people already have smartphones in their pocket.
Well, should they do what Nintendo's doing with NX, though? Should they do what Nintendo's doing with the NX? Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Not
Sony,
NX, but DNA. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to build a whole separate handheld because really what the Vita is for is kind of like Bobby said, it's not something that's compact you can always easily take with you. It's something that's more for gaming hardcore when you can't use your TV.
Sure.
And if they wanted to really profit again, maybe do what Nintendo's doing and start getting involved in that market. Now, I don't know if that means promoting their phone a little more. I don't know if that means just making games for Apple and all that, but I just feel like the way people are actually going, they're buying less and less handhelds, and I don't even know, I'm wondering about the NX with Nintendo. If that is a combination portable and console, they're going to have to do something amazing because it's hard to beat the phone nowadays in the mobile market.
Well, guys, with that, we'll move on to some real quick Xbox news. They leaked that a new controller is on the way for the Xbox One in June. It's a very basic remodel that's going to add a microphone port onto the bottom of it, so you no longer need that adapter, which is actually really awesome. So I actually need to get a second controller eventually anyway, so having that controller or the microphone port on the bottom is going to be nice. The only thing I noticed with the screenshots of the new controller, with the adapter, you have those buttons where you can adjust the volume of the game, or how high the chat is compared to the games, things like that. The controller doesn't have that. So are we going to lose that functionality? Because that's actually one thing I love about my Xbox One is playing games through my headset, with my Titan headset. So, I guess... what about you, Matt? I know you don't use your headsets for gaming, though. You mainly just use it for, talking back and forth, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I haven't actually even tried to set it up to where I'm hearing the game through my headphones. Because normally when I'm playing games, my wife doesn't even want to be in the same room. So she goes to a different room. So.
Just kick her out. That's nice.
But is that for all headsets, or would the official Xbox headsets that probably are going to come with it, would they still have that functionality, or is it just you wouldn't be able to change it for all other headsets?
Sure. I guess that brings a question up for you, Brent. So you already have a PS4, and I know you can play through your headset, through your controller. How do you adjust the volume and things like that on the PlayStation 4?
Well, it's usually you have to open up the menu on the PS4, and then from there monitor that way.
That seems like a lot more steps.
Yeah,
but
that's why I would just get the official headset.
Sure.
Some headsets have the volume right on the cord, so you can just push up and down on that too. But, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not a multiplayer centric gamer, so I don't even use my headset that much for voice commands. But I like James. When you told me about just listening to how it puts you in that
it does.
environment more. It really
you
does.
More in the world. Yeah, it's awesome.
And I'm surprised about like playing The Evil Within. Like I know you talked about that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, you hear all those other noises and
awesome.
PT. Oh my gosh.
Actually,
that's a nice segue, actually.
Sure, actually, speaking of PT, Mr. Brandt.
Breaking news,
You
news.
actually brought this up to me because I didn't even hear about this. I kind of did a little research on it right before we hopped on here. There's a rumor going around that Silent Hills, which got canceled for PlayStation 4, that Microsoft is going to be paying a ton of money to make it an Xbox One exclusive. That would be a major turn because last year they had the PT demo. Everyone was super pumped. It was going to be they never directly came out and said PlayStation exclusive, but people pretty much assumed it was because of the PT demo. But now if that totally does a 180 and goes full Xbox One exclusive, that would be insane. Well,
yeah,
Brant, you're the one that brought
huge.
the story up to me, and you love PT. So, what are you going to do, man?
I guess I'm just going to have to run out right now and buy me an Xbox One. There's no other explanation. The thing is, there's two ways to look at it. Kojima probably is not, if this is even true, which I don't think it is, because they said something about the game being 80% done as well, which... Del Toro was saying that wasn't even started yet or anything.
Yeah.
But, there would have to be... I lost my train of thought. Dagnabbit. But the...
pull the Brant.
Pull the Brant. No, I'd said I would not buy a system for the game, honestly, because you have Kojima that's probably not going to be on it, and like I said, it just wouldn't be the same team, and...
Sure. Kojima was mad at was it like Konami?
Yeah, he was mad at Konami.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
if Microsoft buys it and they bring Kojima over, Konami pretty much let him go. What's he going to be working on?
Well, there's two ways to look at this. I'm glad that I hope somebody buys them. I pray it's not Microsoft, but I would be glad if someone bought them.
Darth
so
Spencer,
the game could be
Bobby
made.
Called him last time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad there's a chance that the game could be made, but I'm just hoping that could get to as many people as possible because
that PT demo, man, that was
awesome.
Amazing. And I know, Matt, I know you're not much of a big horror guy, but I know you enjoy your Xbox and you enjoy things like Dead Space and stuff like that. Have you ever played Silent Hills before, or Silent Hill, I should say?
Not Silent Hill. I was a big Resident Evil fan there for a while, but I watched it play a little bit, and I saw some videos online. It looked like a real fun game. But if they did that, and I like my Xbox a lot. It just seems it seems like a crazy amount of money. I heard it's like billions or something like that. They were saying that they would pay for this, but I don't know. The only way I'd look at it is another possibly fun game that I could play. And it really brings into the question nowadays, like this almost seems like the first generation that everybody was so ingrained in their consoles before even any of the games were released.
Yeah.
That nobody is seeing a game as a console seller. There could be all these cool games coming to Nintendo and I still don't want to get a Wii U if you're one of those people. Or a cool game coming to Xbox. Well, I still don't want to get an Xbox if it's coming. Or a cool game coming to PlayStation. Well, I still don't want to get one. This is like the first time that I've heard people say, well, if a game is made for a certain system, then, well, too bad because people aren't going to play it. Rather than in every past generation, it was like, well, okay, maybe we could get that system. So it's just kind of weird how the market plays itself now.
Sure. Well, what about you, Bobby? Do you play horror games at all?
I don't. I didn't mess with Silent Hill at all. I think if you can even consider horror, the closest I've ever been to horror is Last of Us, and that was more, zombie apocalypse type deal. I'm just listen. All I hear when you're talking about this story is Microsoft buying something.
You actually brought this last time.
Creating, they're continuing to buy stuff. So it's it is what it is.
Yeah, you got to look at it this way though. If people are giving up and letting go, I think that if listen. They obviously saw the explosion that happened after E3 last year. There's more than enough want for this. The problem is are they buying the name or are they buying
everything that came with
Sure,
it.
like the whole team, yeah.
Yes, and
exactly.
I don't see that being the case. I see them this as them buying Rare. You're buying,
sure. And then they'll make make Connect
then
games,
they'll
right?
flop it.
Yes,
yeah.
and that's the problem.
Silent Hills Connect.
Did they ever make a Connect horror game? Because that actually might have been interesting.
They did, actually. But sorry, Bobby, go ahead.
No, I mean, for me, if it's if it's a situation where, I just think that they're not going to do anything productive with it. I think that Kojima's gone. I think Kojima's going to move to the indie scene. To be honest with you, I just don't see anybody giving him the kind of money that he'll command. To do anything like a developer. It's kind of like Iga and the Rare team, the Platonic. No company wants to give these guys the kind of money that they need, because in their mind they think, hey, we know what the customers want. They want this type of game, and they have no clue what we want. So, and the actual creators know what we want. So, unfortunately, I don't see Microsoft. I just see them buying the name, and that's it.
Sure.
So.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll move on to Nintendo news. If I had any. I don't really have any Nintendo news this week.
Splatoon.
Splatoon came out today, which is a blast. We'll get around to that when we talk about the games we've been playing. Well, I guess real quick, since we're talking about Nintendo, I'm trying to think if there's anything. I mean, Bobby, do you know of any big Nintendo news out lately?
The only thing was you had the Wave 4 Amiibos launched in the United States today, which I will say this. Because this is news, and people are down on Nintendo about the whole Amiibo situation.
Yeah.
But anybody that was out today realizes immediately that they're starting to get things together. There was enough Greninjas in the stores today for everybody that was in line, and people hours later going in and getting them. There was a store local to me about 20 minutes away that had 138 Greninjas in the store. Yeah. The store that I went to, there was 30 people in line, and they still had another 30 after we all picked up ours.
Wow.
Same thing with Target with the Jigglypuff.
Yeah.
So then at Toys R Us, they had Marth. They're starting to get the reissues back out. So I really looked at today as a positive sign for anybody that's been down on the whole Amiibo situation. I think it's starting to make a turn in the positive. So
Yeah, I know with like Matt and I, we're not trying to get every Amiibo, but the original plan was he would get half and I would get the other half. But really now it's kind of turned more into a scramble of we just get the ones for the series we like. I mean, what about you, Matt? I mean, I know you just picked up you actually got a Silver Mario for yourself, and you got the boy Splatoon Amiibo, right?
Yeah, the Inkling Boy, and then in the mail I got Ness coming, and
that's awesome.
I think that's it for this wave. I mean, I was trying to think. The way I look at it, I'm trying to think of games that I love that are either never going to come out again, but I still love that game. Like, I want to get the Duck Hunt dog so bad when they release that. Or series that are like the main series, and I try to get like the main character from each of them. So I got Star Fox and Samus and all them. But I'm not too focused on getting like every single one because that's a lot of money, and it's hard to find a lot of them.
They are hard to find, but like Bobby said, you're starting to walk in stores and actually able to find them a little bit more. I've got Pac-Man and Wario on the way. I was looking at the rest of the Amiibo coming out, and nothing was really standing out to me except for one more, and that was Olimar. I love Pikmin, and just be able to get a character from Pikmin, like in any kind of form, would be awesome. Plus, the other thing that's really sort of pushing me toward Olimar is in the Mario Kart 8 DLC, when you can like get your Mii costume, and your racer has like a Pikmin hanging onto your helmet.
That's pretty cool.
I'm like, that is too awesome. Cool. I have to get that. Well, hey, Brant, what Amiibo are you picking up?
I'm still. Corey from DNA had a good idea. I'm waiting for that Bloodborne run.
right. The Bloodborne exclusive.
Exactly.
Although Sony does follow a lot of stuff Nintendo does, so it's possible that they will have some type of amiibo thing coming in the future.
Got PlayStation Battle All Stars.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they could do their very own Skylanders and make something like that.
Listen,
That's
they have
PlayStation exclusive.
They do have. Oh my God, Little Big Planet.
Oh, that's true. I didn't
honestly,
think about that.
that's the game that with that creative levels and all that stuff. Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with that game.
Bobby, that is a genius idea. I didn't think of that.
Sony will have it. Sony will have it in a month.
They'll announce it at E3, man.
That's their E3 announcement.
We should save that for
They'll
our
take
E3
over 45
show.
minutes. Yeah, with that stuff.
What if they announced Little Big Planet 4?
They could. Little Big Planet 3 didn't do so hot.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah, we'll see. But, okay, guys, real quick, we're going to get into the... I do have one more thing to talk about in our miscellaneous news. It's not necessarily toward any specific system. You know how they came up with the Resident Evil remaster not too long ago? They just announced they're doing Resident Evil 0 remaster. This is actually kind of interesting because this was a GameCube exclusive. I believe they remade it once for the Wii. It was more of like a port than a remaster. But it's always been a Nintendo game. Well, they're remastering this. It's coming to Xbox One, Xbox 360, PS4, and PS3. So they're like, Nintendo, you've already had this, so you're not getting it again. Because the Resident Evil remaster was the same way. They didn't bring it to Wii U. But Brant, I know we had some fun playing Resident Evil 0 back in the day, and you actually purchased the Resident Evil remaster, right?
Right.
Now, are you going to be picking up Resident Evil 0 to play through? This is going to come out sometime early 16.
Yeah, the remaster is so awesome. I forgot. Remember, I just played it at your house until all night.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one time? Yeah, I just played all night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that old hag that, came after you that, oh, my gosh. I was, near pissing my pants. But
Resident Evil 0 gets a lot of flack, but because it has a little bit of pacing issues here and there, but I actually really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I'd be willing to try it if they bring it over. I mean, it's probably not going to be on the same level.
And better than 5.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you don't like the action route.
Right. It's more of the horror, kind of like the original Resident Evil, sort of like 1 and 2, that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's a good game.
Yeah,
I've noticed that the Resident Evil series.
Yeah.
Like, when did 6 come out? How long ago did that come out?
Oh, geez, I can't even remember. That was a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
man.
you
It
would
was
think they would have
forgotten.
kept going with the series, but I think they realized that the series just isn't. I mean, I know 5 sold a lot, but the series just isn't going anywhere. So they just keep. They went back to back when we made good Resident Evil games, let's just bring those back.
Actually, what they're doing with Resident Evil, they actually came out and said they're going to kind of split the series. They said when Resident Evil 7 comes out, it's going to stick to that action shooting, kind of like what started with Resident Evil 4 and kind of escalated from there. And they started the Resident Evil Revelation series, and they said that's going to stick to the horror roots. So they kind of split the series into 2 different groups, which is kind of strange. I don't know why they
Just
did that.
don't call it Resident Evil 7.
Right.
I don't even know why they are doing that.
Sure. But that's the way it goes, right? Well, real quick, we'll get into our bargain section that we call My 2 Cents. For PlayStation news, they announced the PlayStation Plus games for June. So what do we have in store this week, Brant, or this month, I should say?
This month on PlayStation Plus, free games. Boom. For PS4, you're getting Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which I don't have, so actually that's pretty awesome before the release of the game. Also, Skulls of the Shogun Bonafide Edition, which this is a real-time strategy set in feudal Japan with the undead, and I guess it was a good iPad game. I actually wanted to try it out, so now I get my chance.
Cool.
Let's see, for PS Vita, Super Exploding Zoo. I really got nothing on that. Sounds interesting. Futuridium EP Deluxe also, which looks like it's a retro-inspired shooter with crazy action puzzle elements and bumping electronic soundtrack. Next on the PS3, Call of Juarez Gunslinger, which if you look at the Call of Juarez series, don't go back to the Cartel or whatever that one they took it into the... But this one was a really good one. James, did you ever play it?
No, I didn't. The last one I played was, what was it, Call of Juarez,
Yeah, that one was good too.
The second one. It was Blood of something, wasn't that? I can't remember exactly what that was called. But I love that game. Yeah. That was a really good game.
Oh, yeah. And this one's just more arcadey. You know, it takes it back to like the light gun shooters, but, you know, it plays like a first-person shooter. But it's really cool because you're playing from like somebody that's telling the story in this saloon. Like, he makes the story as you're going along. So some of the guys will be like, wait, that didn't happen. Then it'll change the whole story around as you're playing. Cool. Yeah, it's worth checking out. What's that?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the last game for PS3 is Cloudberry Kingdom.
Oh, okay. I got that on Wii U. Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah, I mean...
It's randomly generated levels. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I mean,
pretty
hard
solid.
Platformers, yeah.
Pretty solid month, I'd have to say.
Cool. Well, Bobby, I know you've got your PlayStation on the way.
Yes.
Do you have PlayStation Plus? Like, are you getting these free games now? Like, are you going onto the site and registering these? So when you open up your PS4 and, you know, give it a few kisses and then hook it up to your television set, you'll be ready to go, right?
I'm not. You know what? And I'm kicking myself because I do have PS Plus. I bought it. I bought it a couple months ago, and just because it was a good deal, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to need it anyway. Yeah. And I think it was on sale, actually, is why I got it. And I was like, I might as well get it. But, it's... I don't know. I don't know why. I just haven't. There hasn't been anything that really, like, jumped out that I was like, I need to have this. But then again, it's free, so I might as well just get it and try it. Yeah. So, I got to start. Now, my question, though, is this, and Brant, you would probably be the expert at this. So I have a PS3. How do I register like a PS4 game?
You can't do that on the PS3. You
can't do that.
With the Vita games, I think you can download them on the PS3 so that they'll queue them for when you get the Vita. But for the PS4, you need to be signed into the store on like your phone or computer or something. Then you can download it there.
Okay.
So so what you should do is get on your computer.
I have the phone app.
Yeah, just download it when it comes free. Download them there, and then when you get your PS4, it'll be ready to be synced up. Yeah,
yeah, that's actually what I do with the Xbox games for gold for the 360 stuff, because I don't have a 360 anymore. But if for some reason I was able to get one super cheap down the road, I have all these Xbox games with gold saved up because I do it through the website.
That's what I got to do. See, I didn't know that I could do that, and that was because I'm like, there's no sense downloading them for my PS3 because I'm getting rid of that. Sure. And then, not getting rid of it, but I was going to disconnect it and put it away. So that's good. That's good to know. Thank you, Josh. Yeah. The beard.
I'm good for something.
Oh no, that's good.
Yes.
And Brant, I must say, I think I'll have you read our PlayStation news from now on because that was very impressive.
You like that?
That was what I was wondering. Well, real quick, we'll hit up Xbox. They announced their games with gold, and so this month. You're getting, on Xbox One, you're getting Massive Chalice, which it was a Kickstarter game from Double Fine. Those are the people that made Psychonauts. They made, I'm trying to think, they made what's that trick-or-treating game called? I'm drawing a blank.
Costume Quest.
Costume Quest. The Costume Quest. Yeah. Like, they've made a lot of really awesome games, and so it's actually coming out this month on all systems, but on Xbox One it's going to be free, which is awesome. The other game that is going to be free, continuing for the third month in a row, is Pool Nation Effects. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
Pool Nation.
Do you hear those crickets? Man, once again, PlayStation Plus just
Why does Microsoft do that?
Microsoft with their games gold. But, I mean, it is awesome. We're getting Massive Chalice for free. It's free, so I guess I can't really complain too much. Yeah. That's awesome.
That sounds pretty good.
PlayStation Plus gets all these games. On Xbox 360, the first half of the month, you're getting Just Cause 2. And then the second half of the month, you are getting
old.
The second half of the month you are getting the Thief reboot. So that's actually it's okay. I mean, I picked it up on my Xbox One, but both those games are free on Xbox 360. And then Nintendo, as you all know, they never have sales. So I've got nothing to bring up this month for Nintendo.
Well, they did just have a.
Oh wait, that's right.
Well, they did just come off an indie sale as well. Like, I think it was a couple weeks ago.
Bundle.
Well, beyond that, I mean, that's one thing. I know you wanted to talk about that, Matt, but before that, before the Humble Bundle hit, they actually had like I know you could get SteamWorld Dig for like 50% off, and there was a bunch of games that were like 50% off, indie games and stuff. So, but I know Matt wanted to talk about.
Yeah, Matt, go ahead and tell us about, because I totally forgot about that. I actually didn't participate in it because I already had almost all but I think 2 of the games. But go ahead and let us know what's in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, actually, you're right that they do have on the 3DS. They have some good deals every now and then, and Wii U has some. But this week, I noticed they revealed something called the Humble Bundle, which is they says the first time any console manufacturer or whatever has partnered with the site, and you go and you donate what you want. It's basically a pay as you wish kind of thing for the games, and it's a bunch of indie titles for the Wii U and 3DS. And I paid $10, I think, and got was SteamWorld Dig, Moon Chronicles
Great
Episode
game.
1, Whoa Dave, Ollie Ollie, and Mighty Switch Force for the 3DS. And then on the Wii U, it was Mighty Switch Force 2, I think. Was that it?
No, I don't think that was on there.
Maybe not that one, but Ollie Ollie for the Wii U. I think it was the SteamWorld Dig as well for the Wii U.
Yeah, you got it on. Yep.
I haven't looked into the game ones on my Wii U yet because I've been playing my 3DS, but there was 10 games I got for $10. And
yeah, it was. That's a really good deal. And dude, Mighty Switch Force was a game that came out almost launch of 3DS. It was a while ago, but if you haven't played Mighty Switch Force, that game is awesome. And Mighty Switch Force 2 is good too.
I will say the one I've gotten the most into, Ollie Ollie is a lot of fun, but Moon Chronicles, I'd never heard of it, and you can definitely tell it's indie. But it's basically
it was actually a DS game. It's a remastered DS game.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But it's almost like a simplified version of Metroid. It's you explore. It's first person. It's a shooter. You're kind of on the moon. You have to go to certain rooms and find this certain gear to go back and then unlock these doors and go this way. It reminded me of that, and it had a pretty interesting kind of somewhat spooky, but somewhat kind of you're figuring out what's going on kind of story.
Sure.
I only played the first episode because that's all you got, but it actually made me kind of interested to go through.
I was going to say, will you go back and get the other episodes now?
I might. It actually,
cool.
It was, I wouldn't give it this amazing score and say it's just like Metroid, but if you want that kind of feel in a simpler form for $1, then definitely go to this Humble Bundle site.
Awesome.
It's a lot of fun.
Well, real quick, I guess, Bobby, give your praise for SteamWorld Dig.
Listen.
How many times have you bought that?
Dude, I bought that for both Wii U's in the house and the 3DS, and I was actually going to buy the Humble Bundle just to get it and give it to my wife and put it on there. Not even because I have almost all the games. Mm-hmm. Listen, the game, I love SteamWorld Dig, and a couple weeks ago I actually went and met Brian from Image and Form, the CEO from Image and Form. I met him in North Jersey, and they let me demo SteamWorld Heist, and
awesome.
That game is phenomenal. I mean, it is soup to nuts. I can't wait for the game to come out. It's like a codename Steam in theory, and it's kind of like a Fire Emblem, but it's a 2D side scroller type thing, and it is awesome. So good. Graphics pop. It's amazing. So
awesome. And I know a SteamWorld Dig that's coming to Xbox One soon. I'm actually going to get it on there so I can do my Let's Plays, can do all that through my Xbox One.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be picking that up there. But I've heard nothing but good things. And those guys over at Image and Form, they are awesome. They are the nicest guys.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're all really good people.
Awesome. Well, guys, real quick, we're just going to talk about what we've been playing in a section that we call Time Logged. So I guess, Bobby, we'll start with you, man. What have you been playing lately? I'm assuming it's one.
Splatoon, that's it.
I think that's going to be it for most of them.
I'm when is this podcast over so I can go play more?
You're playing on your game
playing
right
as
now,
as he's recording.
We have the same
I wish. That game is so awesome.
Yeah,
it is. They did the test fires. I played the first test fire about 3 weeks ago now, I think the first one was, and I played it, and I was like, okay, I see what they're doing, this is good, and then I was like, I don't know, because I was talking to Mark from the Warp Whistle, and I was like, it was alright,
I know he had some serious problems with connections, Mark.
And then after the hour, it was like, holy crap, I want to play again, so I went back and did the second test fire, and I was like, oh my god, I really got hooked after the second one, and then last weekend, there was a problem in the first hour, and then they extended it by an hour. And I played the entire hour last week, and I was like, this is all me. I had pre-ordered it between the two test fires, but the game is so good. It is. If you don't have it, you need to have it. And like people that are complaining about things, like anybody that's complaining about this game, they haven't played it. That's the only thing I'll say. Like, you play it and it's just phenomenal.
It's more about the modes, isn't it? There not being enough modes or something like that. That's what I hear most of the complaints about.
Well, the voice chat. But let's be honest, you guys have all played it. I don't feel like you need voice chat in it. Yeah. Would it be cool? No. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, the matches are so short that
3 minutes.
It's not like you really need to. And with the gamepad, with the map right at your hands, you can see where you need to be going.
Oh, yeah.
And I think as everybody starts to get a feel for it, you don't need to tell people, like, hey, go over here or go over there. Like, that's the early gripes that I had after playing the first hour. But it seemed like as more and more people start playing it, they realize, like, hey, look at your map. Okay, we need to do the ink on the other side of the map. We need to figure out how to get back there on the back side of the other team. And I think that the more you play it, the more you realize, like, the voice chat would be cool, but it's not a make or break for the game at all.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Matt? I know me and you earlier, we were playing some Splatoon with our friend Bremy. But, I mean, is that mainly what you've been playing lately? Is there anything else you've been playing, or what have you been up to?
I mean that Splatoon and then the Humble Bundle indies, I've been playing mostly 3DS and Moon Chronicles and Mighty Switch Force, which I'm liking. SteamWorld Dig, shout out there. That is an awesome game. And I didn't even know what SteamWorld Heist was about, so I'm pretty excited for that now.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Yeah, I mean, that's right up your alley, man, because you are big in Fire Emblem, and you really like those real-time strategy type games.
Oh, yeah, Fire Emblem.
I think SteamWorld Heist would probably be right up your alley, sir.
Yeah. But I mean, Splatoon, like, I can definitely. It is a great game. It's amazing, and I agree with what Bobby said. If you're complaining about it, you just haven't played it, and it is true. The matches are so short. The single player, I've only played a few missions of it. It seems fun enough. It's not really any sort. There's no campaign to it, and so I guess the big question for people who don't have Wii U, because if you have a Wii U, you just need to buy it. It's that amazing. But for people who don't have one, it's like, is that game worth buying? I think it's like
Brant.
It's another great game. It's another great game, and even though there's like a ton of great games, there's not one that somebody could point to and say, well, that's worth finally buying the system for. But really, I mean, by now there's a lot of like 10 games that are just really good.
Absolutely.
At this point in the game, like, there are so many great Wii U games. If you don't own a Wii U, I mean, either you just don't have the financials. No, I mean, listen, some people just don't have the financials to do it, and that's fine. That's all well and good, because it is a costly system. It's still not. Yeah. I feel like it needs a price shop.
Sure.
But you know, it's still a $300 system. You can get the basic still for about $100 or for about $200.
Yeah.
So that's an option for people that can't they can't swing the $300. But still, I mean, there's no excuse for not owning a Wii U if you're a fan of Nintendo.
Sure.
Like, and this game is like Matt said, it's not a system seller, but it's by all means like just adding to the vast library, and I just can't wait till we get into the point where once August hits, where you can actually do more stuff, and it's cool.
Sure.
And hey, Bobby, what's your favorite gun to use?
I just the roller, man.
Roller.
I hit that roller and I just wipe the map. But you know what? The thing of it is when you play like the skate park, it's a lot harder to do stuff with the roller because the skate park's a lot of
up and down the
like
ramp, sure.
Yes, and it's difficult. But other than that, the what is it? The Splatter Junior, the Splatterhouse Junior,
Splattershot Junior.
Splattershot Junior. That one's cool.
I like that a lot. That's my main. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I got one today that was like a it looks like an airbrush more or less.
Huh.
It's rapid fire. It's like a machine gun. It's like the Splattershot Junior, but it looks like an airbrush, and it is so awesome. Like it's fast and it's sleek looking. Like it's a good one. So I might start tinkering with that a little bit.
Well, real quick, just to end this Splatoon talk, I've been playing that as well. I didn't have a lot of time today. I've been really busy, but the little time I had, I put in quite a few multiplayer matches today with Matt and then our friend Bremy. And we actually Skyped while we did it, just to sort of talk to each other. Although it's pretty easy to jump into your friends' games, but you aren't always on the same team. But I'm really looking forward to jumping into that. I'm also playing through Assassin's Creed still, Assassin's Creed Unity, enjoying that. I'm a little over halfway through now. Still enjoying it. I mean, that game got a lot of hate, but I'm still liking it a lot. One other thing to add about Matt and what you've been playing, Matt. You've been playing Donkey Kong Country. You've actually been putting some Let's Plays up on our YouTube. So if you guys haven't checked that out, check out. He's playing through Donkey Kong Country now. He just got the first one up.
Which one are you playing? Are you playing Tropical Freeze or Returns?
Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I'm going back to the originals.
You're going back to the old ones. Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't have a first system to my PS1, so I've been going back and playing a lot of classics for the first time. That one's not for the first time. That one I played a good amount, but as I do, it's kind of like experiencing it from a modern gamer's perspective who didn't get to play it when I was a kid. And I'm doing that with a lot of games now. Yep.
So he definitely has an interesting perspective on that. So we actually, it's cool. Awesome, guys. If you haven't checked that out, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. And Brant, what about you, man? What have you been playing since, you can't enjoy this wonderful Splatoon awesomeness? What have you been up to?
You guys actually are making it so I want to buy or check out this game. Just how you guys are talking. Man.
Just come. I mean, even if the next time we get together, we get together for E3, if you have to wait that long to play it, we're going to put it in your hands, and you'll, as soon as you leave our E3 get-together, you're going to walk out of my house, go to your local game store, and buy a Wii U.
Pick up the hundreds of Wii U's in the shelf.
Right.
I think, you joke, but seriously, I don't know if he'll go run by a Wii U, but I think that, he plays it, and it's one of those games that you sit there and go, oh, this is fun. But then, an hour later, all of a sudden you're like, I want to play that again. I felt like I was 15 years old again, and I was just I craved playing a game, and I'm sitting here waiting, man, I gotta go play something.
To come up with the Nintendo theme, I think one of the things where they were lacking was, just that, bringing back that inner
child.
Yeah. And it seems like this game actually is making it for you guys.
It's fun, dude. Yeah. But what have you been playing, man?
No, I was just going to say, that game for, I think it'd just be great with Eli. Yeah, you guys don't have kids.
Yeah.
But playing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, it seems similar in that regard.
Yeah.
He absolutely loves that game.
I think he would absolutely love Splatoon. It's colorful. It's fun. Dude, the music reminds me of Jet Grind Radio. Dude, it's awesome. I love it. It's good.
I want to try the 1v1 mode. I haven't done that one yet.
Yep.
But anyway, I've been barreling through The Witcher 3.
Oh, yes.
Still,
we're over here playing Happy Splatoon. You're over there playing the dark and brooding Witcher 3.
Chopping off limbs and
Jesus.
You should let Eli play that.
Oh yeah, that good
that
children material there. Right. But that's a game. On the last episode, I was talking about. I really loved what they were doing, but some things just didn't meld, and it's finally to the point where I just get it now, and it's almost like what you guys are describing with Platoon. Splatoon. It's just something I just want to keep. I just keep thinking about. Okay, I got to do this and this, and it's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you're having a good time with that.
Yeah, I also put a little Guacamelee Let's Play up on Life of Gaming, so you can check out my ineptitude on that.
This is great, guys. I feel like with our YouTube channel, we're getting a good flow of content because Brant, you got the PlayStation stuff. I'm doing my Shovel Knight stuff. Matt's doing his Donkey Kong stuff. So you guys definitely have to check out that YouTube page. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with all this amazing content.
Boom.
But real quick, guys, we are going to hop into what you've all been waiting for, our topic of the week.
Hype train, chugga 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 E3. Hype train, choo choo.
I feel like it needs a retro noise, do 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 do.
Thank you for that, sir. I think I'm going to leave that instead of putting the music in. I'm going to leave that in its place.
Oh no!
Yeah, that's right. Well, real quick, guys. Like I said, we're taking our E3 content and we're breaking it into 3 separate shows, and today is Nintendo specific. So we've got 3 pretty big Nintendo fans and 1 Nintendo
Acolyte.
Sure.
No, whatever that means.
But what I'm going to do real quick, just so we sort of have context, I'm going to break down some key points in Nintendo's history at E3. And so we'll just sort of go through that year by year and just pick out some main points. And then after that, we're going to give our predictions. So I hope you're all looking forward to that. The very first E3 was actually in 1995, and Nintendo was there, obviously. And the big thing that they unveiled at the first E3, the Virtual Boy. Woo!
Whoa!
So Nintendo was off to a good start.
Yeah.
But hey, did any of you guys own a Virtual Boy by any chance?
I did not. By the time I was ready to buy them, they yanked them off the shelves.
Yeah, they weren't around very long. I mean,
They weren't around long at all, and,
Yeah.
and it was because they were giving people headaches. That's why they yanked them off the shelves.
Sure.
So I was like
That red
ready to go,
3D.
had my money to go, and I started calling around, and everybody was like, "No, we just returned them last week." And I was like,
Wow, that's crazy.
yeah.
But I mean, that first E3, what a way. I mean, no one really knew what was going to happen with the Virtual Boys. That's kind of an interesting way to kick off E3. But however, the following year, in 96, they introduced Josh's last Nintendo love, the Nintendo 64,
The
and they
great
showed off
mighty.
Mario 64. I mean, to think of that kind of leap from something like the Virtual Boy to something that changed platform gaming history forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it
Yep.
was the Nintendo 64 with Mario 64 and Pilot Wings and those games that they were showing off. I think it was still called the Ultra 64 back then, if I remember right. But
When it was originally coming, they
Yeah.
were going to name it the Ultra 64, but I think there was a trademark issue that they had to drop
okay.
that. And if I'm not mistaken, it was with Konami, because when Konami was making games for the NES, they had a shell company, Ultra, in order
I
to
remember that,
make
yeah.
additional games because
the
Nintendo
Ninja
used to
Turtle
only let
games
you
came
do.
out under that.
Yes, and so did Metal Gear. The original
Oh,
Metal
okay.
Gear was in Ultra because it was more or less you could only do 5 games a year. So
okay.
in order to do
They could cheat the system.
yes, exactly.
And look where Konami's at now.
Yeah, sad, isn't it?
Oh, I know. But hey, Matt, I've just got a quick question. Just
Yeah.
out of interest, when did you really start watching E3? I'm just curious.
Oh, E3?
Yeah, like when you really started paying
Probably-
attention to games and things like that.
Actually, it was a lot later than you guys.
Yeah.
It was when they announced Halo 3. I want to say it was 2006 with that trailer where the Master Chief was like walking out into the rubble,
yeah,
and then
okay.
he looked out over that big canyon and the arc was coming up or whatever.
Got
it. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say 2006 because I didn't even know that they were coming out with a 360 when they revealed it in 2005, and I ended
Uh-huh.
up just buying a 360 that fall because I played Halo for the first time and liked it.
Sure.
And
Awesome.
So yeah, it was about that
I was
long.
just curious, because I'm going back over these years. I'm like, I don't know if Matt paid attention to Gabe for
Dude,
too
I didn't start watching intently until like 2011. Honestly,
Oh,
Yeah,
I would look at the headlines afterwards, but then I would,
Yeah.
Sure. The first one, actually, the first one I remember watching was the one where they were announcing the GameCube. It was still called Project Dolphin. That was the first one I watched because I remember seeing that Zelda trailer for the first time and the Samus trailer for the first time. Like, this is the GameCube, and I'm like, oh my gosh! My little head at that time was like, it's like exploded.
This can't be
But,
happening.
right. Oh, dude, but it was crazy. But actually, the year after the N64, the following year, Nintendo was pretty much on fire because in '97 they showed off The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. They showed off GoldenEye, and they showed off Banjo-Kazooie. Those were like their big games in '97.
that was a big year.
So yeah, that was, and actually, because Nintendo was sort of on a hot streak for quite a few years in a row. In '98, Matt, this would be a pretty big deal for you. It's when they first announced Pokemon. They showed off Red and Blue for the first time in '98. It was also the year they showed off a little game called Conquer 64. It was before it became it was before it became Bad Fur Day, so it was still like a nice, happy Mario 64 game.
For some reason, I thought Pokemon was a lot older than that. Like, I thought it was like 95.
No,
but-
I mean this list. I actually, when I started making this, I was going through IGN and GameSpot and all these places, getting their brief history of different companies. So that's where I grabbed these numbers from. But yeah, it was crazy. In '99, they showed off Perfect Dark and Donkey Kong 64. and they started to reveal Project Dolphin. They said, we got another system coming. We're going to call it, I mean, at least at the time, it was a code named Dolphin. Nintendo always has these kind of interesting code names. Yeah, because they had Project Dolphin for GameCube.
Revolution for Wii.
Yeah, Revolution for Wii is Project Cafe for the Wii U. I mean, it's just kind of. I mean,
and
all
it's
that had
selling
to do
like
with,
a cafe.
That doesn't even make sense, sir.
I know that. Depends on the cafe.
That makes sense because cafes are like laid back and chilled out, and
That's right.
that's the taste
Bobby,
of the Wii U.
There you go.
Brand.
I mean, the music on the Wii U sounds like cafe
It's got my
music.
back.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But in 2000, they showed off Majora's Mask, which was a very quick turnaround for a Zelda game for them, and they showed off Paper Mario 64. It was the first time.
That was a great game.
Oh, that game was fantastic. And I mean, we'd never seen anything really like that before on the N64.
Well,
sorry, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, the reason it was a quick turnaround was because they used basically the same engine as
Exactly.
Ocarina of Time.
They used all the same assets. Yeah, so they had a lot of the same characters from Ocarina of Time, but they just kind of made them new people.
Yeah.
But also, Pokemon Gold and Silver was that year as well. So, Pokemon is really starting to pick up steam by that time. I remember, Brant, me and you, like I think junior high, we had our Game Boys and we were all playing Pokemon. Like, that was the cool thing
Everybody had Pokemon.
Everybody.
Trying to catch them all.
Cards at one point.
Not me. I didn't mess with that.
You were sort of out of the handheld gaming at that point, right?
I was out of gaming pretty much at that point. Like I had hit the point where I was like, I'm too old for gaming.
Sure.
And then the Wii kind of sucked me back in.
Okay. So you wouldn't be the Geek Guru today. I mean, if the Wii hadn't.
I wouldn't.
It's all for the love of Nintendo.
the Wii brought me back. Like when I actually started playing the Wii, I felt like I was playing Nintendo for the first time again. Sure. Like, as weird as it sounds, like the baseball and the bowling and all that, and I was just like hooked. And then like Mario Galaxy and Zelda,
Mario
and
Galaxy
I was like,
so good.
Wow. And then Punch Out. It was like I'm playing the NES all over again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was good.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that's in 2001. They revealed the GameCube. They showed off Star Wars Rogue Squadron for the first time, which I still think is probably the best Star Wars game ever made.
That's a good game.
And they also showed off Smash Brothers Melee. And now Smash Brothers Melee was supposed to come out at launch, but it got delayed. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. Like the system came out at October, November, and then Smash got delayed for like 2 months or so. It wasn't a very long delay, but I remember people were like freaking out because they thought a Smash Brothers game was going to be at launch. But it was actually pretty close to launch, though.
That's no different than Smash for the Wii U, though.
Yeah.
Because when they opened up with the Wii U, that was part of the, like, what was it, 2 years before the Wii U actually launched, they showed that, like, hey, we're working on something new, and they had, like, all these launch games, and that was one of them.
Oh, was it?
And it was like, everybody, because they were doing the Wii U, and they were doing the 3DS, because the 3DS was launching right around the same time, and it was the first time that it was going to be on both systems, and it was like, what was it, 2 years after launch, and so it was,
Huh. Well, actually, this early 2000 time when they revealed the GameCube, like I said before, that's when I really started watching E3. That's when I really got into it. Like, I have to watch this every year. This is awesome, because in 2002 was one of the biggest shocks I've ever had in E3 history, because when they first showed off that GameCube, the demos, and they showed off Metroid, they showed off Legend of Zelda, where it's Link fighting Ganon. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but then in 2002 they said Zelda's coming, and it was the Wind Waker, and everyone's like, what? Like, people flipped out because they expected that realistic looking, The Legend of Zelda, which I feel like we kind of started to get with Twilight Princess, but Wind Waker came out, which they couldn't have done anything that was more different than that original trailer with Wind Waker.
Arguably the best Zelda.
Yeah.
Have you remember that trailer they showed a few years ago? I was going to say, it was around the time that they revealed that Smash Brothers stuff, and it was like, they showed this trailer for Zelda, and it was super realistic, high definition, and Link was fighting some sort of giant monster in a building and like threw his chain out at him and grabbed it and stuff. Remember that? And that's like pretty different than the one that they've showed off in the last year or so.
True. But
and well, for me personally, like when I saw Wind Waker, I loved it, and I know that there was a lot of hate for Wind Waker because they did go so drastically different. For me personally, like, but I'm a huge cartoon fan. I'm into, comics and all that stuff. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, this is like Disney. You know what I mean? Like, this is a Disney version.
Yeah,
I understand.
absolutely.
The crazy thing, though, is when you play Wind Waker, on the outside, it looks like Green Puff, kiddie game.
Yeah.
But when you play it, it's like a really deep, good game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And just the time they took to do like the little animations, like how Link's eyes would like look at important things, and like just everything about that game was just fantastic. And honestly, until recently, I mean, that was my favorite Zelda of all time. And they remastered it for the Wii U, and that was absolutely a great choice. But I mean, that same year they showed off Wind Waker, they also showed off Mario Sunshine, which other people thought was a disappointment because they wanted Mario 64 too, and they got Mario Sunshine. But looking back, Mario Sunshine is awesome. Like, it is absolutely a fantastic, well-made game. But the other big surprise that nobody was expecting that year, Nintendo came out with their very first-person shooter with Metroid Prime. If you guys remember, I don't know if you remember this or not, but like I think a few days before E3 happened, IGN came out with a story and said Metroid is going first-person shooter, and people were like, "No, that's not true. There's no way." And people were getting mad, saying, "You're lying to us. We know it's a joke." And then E3 happened, and they showed the trailer for Metroid Prime, and people were like in shock. They're like, "Nintendo's making a first-person shooter. Metroid will never work in first-person." And now it's like, for me at least, it's my favorite Metroid by far, by a long shot.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 1.
I want them. Yeah. I know there's a lot of people that love Prime. I'm not a fan of Prime at all.
You let me down, Bobby.
I like. See, I'm a fan of Super Metroid. Is my favorite of all time.
Okay.
So, I beat the original Metroid on the NES, and then when Super Metroid came, I beat that as well. But like, Super Metroid is what made me really fall in love. And then,
gotcha.
And I was hyped as crazy hyped for Other M, and then I was just like, oh,
well, actually,
man,
Other M, the gameplay in Other M is pretty good. It was the story that was kind of like,
the story is just horrible.
I actually went back the other year and played Metroid on NES for the first time. But I'm gonna do a Let's Play of Super Metroid here soon, experiencing it for the first time. So
that'll be interesting to see what you think of that game, man. But hey, Brant, I mean, I remember you played some Metroid Prime. You never owned a GameCube, but I mean, did you enjoy like Prime and Sunshine, things like that?
I have Metroid Prime Trilogy. Let's see, I
for
played
the Wii. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What do you think going back to those now?
Well, honestly, I played like maybe 30 minutes of the first one, and then I never really got. I mean, it's a good game. I just
it's probably hard.
As I always say, there's too much to play. Yeah, and it's hard going back.
Sure.
It really is.
I mean, we're starting to go into a slump for Nintendo because they actually had some really good games year after year after year. And then in 2002, with fans at least being disappointed at Mario Sunshine and Wind Waker, the year after that was 2003. And with that year, they showed off Mario Kart Double Dash, which a lot of people it's one of the weaker Mario. I loved it, but a lot of people thought it was one of the weaker Mario Karts. And their big reveal that year, kind of like with what Nintendo's doing now, connecting Wii U and 3DS and things like that. They were trying to connect the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube. And the big game they showed off that year, I don't know if you guys remember it or not, was a game called Pac-Man Versus. Like, they spent a lot of time talking about this game. And it was where you could hook up your Game Boy Advance to your GameCube. And on the Game Boy Advance, you would see Pac-Man. And so you'd see like an above normal Pac-Man, how you normally play the game. But then on your TV, you would see like almost like a first-person view of what the ghost saw. And everybody else on the GameCube would control the ghost on the television. And the other person would be able to see everything on the Game Boy Advance and play as Pac-Man. So it's kind of like what they were doing with like Nintendo Land now. It was like very, very early version of that. But I mean, they spent a ton of time. That was like their big finisher at that E3. And they had, and plus you had to have the game itself, and you had to have your Game Boy Advance, a GameCube, you had to have all these link cables. Like, it was a mess. I actually had it. It was a lot of fun. But that was a big, E3 people remember for being kind of a slump. But the year after that, in 2004, they revealed the DS for the first time. Where Nintendo's about to spike up again, because whenever Nintendo has a slump, they immediately jump back up. Because in 2004, they revealed the DS, and they said it was going to be their third pillar. It's kind of what they're doing now, what they're talking about the NX. Like, we're going to have the Wii U, the 3DS, and the NX as our third pillar. Well, at the time, they had the GameCube, the Game Boy family, and now they're going to add this DS. Well, the DS was super popular. The Game Boy disappeared. And then in the next year was when the Wii started. It was still called the Revolution, but they were starting to show off, the Wii Remote and the Wii Sports. And, Bobby back into gaming again. That's how great it was. So we are like hitting a major spike for Nintendo in, mid-2000s. So they had that kind of dip in 2002, 2003, and they like skyrocketed with the. Although when the DS came out, I don't know if you guys remember or not, it wasn't really. Received very well. People thought it was kind of strange. But especially with the Wii as well. They're like, where are all the buttons at? I have to move my hands. But once you got the right games in front of people, like, it clicked and people were in love with this system.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of like with the 3DS, too. I mean, it didn't take off, but now look at it selling like gangbusters everywhere.
Exactly. That's why it's kind of weird with the Wii U. It never really, even when they dropping price and having all these amazing games, it's just not, if it didn't take off now, it won't.
Right.
Listen, the 3DS was way overpriced.
Yes, it was. It was $250, right?
$250 for the small, not even the XL. And you figure that me personally, I had just bought a DSi XL for $200, and then you're telling me that I'm going to buy a smaller system for $50 more than I paid for, my larger system, and I was like, just for 3D? No way. And it wasn't until they announced that ambassador program where they gave 20 games free
and the Game
that
Boy
I was
Advance,
like, now it's time to buy. And that's when I bought it. So in my mind, like, they did the, because the Wii U was $350 when it launched, and they dropped it $50.
Yeah.
And it was like, that wasn't enough. Like, they need... when you compared what you were getting against a PS3 and an Xbox 360, it was way too overpriced.
Sure.
And I still say it's overpriced. I understand you have different technology, things like that, but like, I can buy a PS3 with 80 gigs of hard drive for what, $100, $200? Like, how are you giving me a 32 gig for $300?
Yeah,
like,
that's
it just
true.
makes no
Very
sense.
true. Yeah. Well, real quick, just to sort of jump through some Nintendo here. Like I said, they always have their dips and their highs, and we're in a high right now because 2006 is when the Wii released, and they showed off Wii Sports. They showed off Mario Galaxy and Smash Brothers Brawl. The year after that, they showed off Mario Kart, so they're still doing pretty well. 2008 was another. Then they started hitting a slump again because 2008 was the Wii Music debacle. If you remember that. In 2009,
that was genius there.
In 2009 was the Metroid Other M debacle, so they kind of had some issues. And then in 2010, they announced the 3DS, like Bobby was talking about, with the new price, and people were kind of like, it's a little too much money. But that same year, they announced the return of Kid Icarus. They announced the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D remaster, and they also announced the return of Donkey Kong Country. So 2010, they were doing pretty well again. After that, in 11 is actually when they showed off the Wii U for the first time, and they announced Mario Kart 7 for the 3DS, Luigi's Mansion 2 for the 3DS. So during 2011, the focus was more on the 3DS. But, I mean, that was starting to sell finally because they dropped the price. They added some games. But then, again, in 2012, they dropped down again. Because in 2012, if you remember, they showed off their big push for that conference was Nintendo Land, because they were launching the Wii U. They said, you got to check out Nintendo Land. And they showed off things like Wii Fit U. And they were trying to grab that casual audience that wasn't there anymore. And I don't know if you remember or not, but at the end of the conference, there was supposed to be fireworks going off and balloons dropping, and something broke. And so, like, the whole entire show, the whole entire ending of it was a dud. So that really kind of showed what was going on with Nintendo at the time. And then
that was the last year they did like a live presentation.
Yes,
correct?
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Because after that, they kind of learned their lesson. Like you said, they felt like, why are we wasting our money if we're just letting people down?
and that's the thing. Like, people complain about the digital event that they do. I love them personally.
I do
because
too.
I remember when they did Skyward Sword, and I remember Miyamoto being up there trying to play it, and because everybody had cell phones and the wireless wasn't working, and he was like, he's trying to bowl the bombs and it's not working. And
it made the game look really
he was upset and he felt awkward being up there. Yeah. So for me, the digital events are good.
Sure.
But
it shows off the game's best light. Yeah.
Exactly. And the other thing is they're still spending the same money they always did for E3.
Yeah.
Because they're still renting out that hall. They're just doing tournaments there now.
Exactly. So, I mean, right now, like you said, Bobby, 2013, Nintendo started doing these digital directs, which I think were great because they showed off. I mean, they teamed up with like Robot Chicken. They did these really funny videos. Nintendo's starting to learn, the humor, and they're finally learning what the internet is. Because in 2013 was actually really, really impressive. They showed off Super Mario 3D World, which nobody even knew existed, and it came out that year, November. They also showed off Link Between Worlds. They showed off Mario Kart 8, which is honestly, besides battle mode being missing, is the best Mario Kart ever made. And they also showed off Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze for the first time, which actually kind of got a bad reaction because people wanted Metroid out of them, but they got another Donkey Kong. And then last year, like you were saying, Bobby, they had that Smash tournament. They showed off Splatoon for the first time, which actually kind of got a weird reaction, and they showed off Amiibo. So that kind of brings us up to date with where we are now. I mean, Nintendo had some highs, they had some lows. I guess for 2015, just a real quick round question to you guys. Do you think this is going to be another one of those low years? Because the Wii U's not really selling. They don't really have any games announced for 3DS right now. And when their biggest game, Legend of Zelda, they said is not going to be there. I guess, Brant, we'll start with you, the Nintendo enthusiast.
The main Nintendo.
Right. What do you think Nintendo's going to have a bad year this year?
Well, I can honestly say, and I know you guys pick on me for not being the biggest Nintendo fan, but
what?
I would make
Us?
No. But it would honestly make me very happy to see them succeed.
Sure.
Because, like you said, they began the whole video game craze. They are what is responsible for me being into video games. Even though I didn't own a Nintendo system, I'd always wanted to go over to your house and play the classics.
Because you knew how great Nintendo is.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. It's just the video games, the games they make that have these magical moments. So I'm hoping that they recapture that magic again. Sure. And I'm hoping that this conference or telecast that they do is. Yeah, they knock it out of the park, which I don't know because they don't have Zelda. Sure. And then they're not going to talk about their new hardware.
System. Yep, they're not talking about the hardware or the cell phone games or anything like that. They want to save that till next year. So we'll see.
Right. So it's really hard to say what they could even hit on.
Sure. But what about you, Matt? I mean, just in general, do you think it's going to be a good year, or do you think it's going to be kind of one of those more low-key years for Nintendo?
I think the trend that's been shown lately is that at the actual, direct itself, or during the actual direct itself, the reaction is going to be kind of meh.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're going to have some gold hidden in there that we won't see until later. I mean, last year, everybody's like, what is Splatoon? Now it's coming out, and people who are playing are like, this is awesome. Nintendo always goes to the march of its own beat.
Sure.
And they always have gold in there if you give it a chance, but people, other than last year, actually,
instant
people did say that. Yeah. Last year, people did say Nintendo supposedly won E3 if there is a winning of it. But still, in general, people are usually down on them when they still have great things to show, and that's kind of been the trend for them lately. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking they're going to have some reveals that are unexpected, that are... I mean, we all have our guesses, and we're going to guess later, but I mean, they might reveal a new IP or something like that everybody's like, ew, what is this? And then a year later, it's like, wow, this game is awesome. Sure. And I figure that's how it's going to go. I don't think it's going to be received as like, this is the greatest conference ever, but I think there's going to be some really good things they show in it.
Sure. And what about you, Bobby? Real quick recap. What do you think? Do you think they're going to have a good year?
I think that, yes. I think they'll have a very good year. I think that they have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. I think that for them to basically yank Zelda completely, they had to be confident enough to know that they had some other stuff. They have come out and said already that, like, we have games that we're going to show that you don't know about. To me, how do you replace Zelda? You got to come with Metroid. So I think they're going to make that announcement, and it's going to be exactly like when they announced Zelda last year, and that was it. I mean, that's why everybody says they won E3 last year, was because there was all these surprise games that nobody saw coming that was just like boom, 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 and it was just a quick, high-paced bunch of games, and that's what they did, and that's... They've already, by eliminating NX, by eliminating DNA, and saying, we're not talking about that stuff. We're talking about the games. That's what they're focused on. They're going to come out and they're just going to bang game after game after game with a couple of jokes in between, whether they use Robot Chicken again or somebody else. But I think again they win E3, and I think
I hope so.
By people saying that they won E3 last year, I think that the consensus wasn't just the video presentation; it was the Treehouse Live.
Yeah, it was
like
all of
the
it.
overall. Like, I could sit there for 8 hours and just watch them talking about the games that were coming.
Yeah,
and it was like, Sony wasn't doing it, Microsoft wasn't doing it, and it was like you watched their presentations, but you never heard another thing from Sony or Microsoft the rest of the conference, and it was like, there's Nintendo in your face saying, hey, look at us, this is what it is. You know?
Now, one thing I will say, companies are starting to copy Nintendo. I heard, I listened to the Major Nelson podcast from Xbox, and they're saying that this year, Major Nelson and some of the people on that podcast are going to be doing a live show during E3. So I think companies have sort of seen what Nintendo's done, and they're going to try to use it to their advantage now. But I guess
to touch on real quick, I'm sorry,
no,
but to
ahead.
touch on what Josh said in the beginning was that he wants to see Nintendo do good.
Yeah.
Anybody that's a Nintendo hater, you're a fool, and that's straight out. And because Nintendo is the innovators. If they are the ones that Microsoft follows, that Sony follows, and they try to copy. They take what Nintendo does and they improve upon it. But think about it, Rumble Pack. What controller doesn't have shaking in it now? You know what I mean? The touch screens, everybody's doing it now. When they did motion controls, everybody followed suit. When they did, when they announced the gamepad, what was the next thing that came out? Sony started talking about, with the Vita making a touchpad and smart glass. So whatever they do, everybody follows it. So you need Nintendo because they are the true video game company
since '85. Absolutely.
And that's what you need. You need Nintendo to stay strong. You need them to keep doing stuff. And all this nonsense of people saying, like, oh, they're going to fail. If they fail, I'm sorry, but we're going to see a crash in the video game system. Because they're the true gaming company that is just focused on making games. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. I think that, I think that they're going to come home. I think they're going to come strong this time.
And this is the end of our segment. Called Bobby's Soapbox.
No, I definitely agree. I think it's gonna be a great year, but that's like from my perspective. I'm trying to think of like people who have an Xbox or a PlayStation who don't have a Wii U yet. They're still gonna look at it like meh, but they're not gonna understand the gold that's actually in there.
Sure,
exactly.
Well, real quick, I guess, Bobby, you had mentioned you think Metroid will be there. Is that your first prediction, that Metroid will make a showing at this E3? Because real quick, I want to hop into our predictions real fast. What I want to do, I want us to have one real prediction that we think is absolutely going to happen, one we think is a pretty sure it's going to happen, it's kind of iffy, and then one that is going to be so crazy but we would like to see happen. So, Bobby, is Metroid coming to E3 going to be your definite prediction?
I'm going to give you two off of this one.
Whoa, no, sir.
What a deal.
I'm just kidding.
Metroid's definitely coming.
Okay.
Retro is not making it.
I
don't know.
Sneaky.
No, because you know what, I talked about it in me and Toby also are doing predictions, with our videos and stuff, and Toby, that was his prediction that Retro was working on a Metroid series. And my rebuttal to that was there's not enough time. There's no way that if they've had to be working on Metroid from the beginning if they're going to make that announcement this E3. I really strongly believe that this is a year that Metroid is announced, but it's got to be ready. A year and a half ago, they just wrapped on Donkey Kong Country. Yeah. Everybody knows that a big third AAA game, a year and a half is not enough time to make a game of a Metroid caliber. So I honestly believe that there will be a Metroid. I do not believe that Retro is attached to it at all. And I think it's probably even going to be 2D. I don't think that they're going to go 3D.
So this is like a little cluster of predictions all in one little...
and it's all based around Metroid, but that's just my feeling with Metroid. Yeah.
Well, I guess, Matt, what do you think will definitely be at Nintendo's E3?
Well, real quick to go off Bobby's, I think that actually sounds like a good prediction. Plus, with the whole 2D thing, your gamepad, just imagine what the gamepad could do in a 2D game. I guess it could do a lot in a 3D game too.
Sure.
But you can think of a lot of things. My definite... because it's like trying to be a safe bet here.
Sure.
I want to go a little crazy, but I still think it's going to be definite. Is that for Star Fox? When obviously that's going to be one of their highlighted games. They're going to reveal a full Amiibo set.
Yeah.
And it's going to involve multiplayer because that's a crucial thing to them.
Sure.
But I think the Amiibos are going to come into play in the game. That they'll have like a Falco and they'll have a Star like Fox himself and all the characters. And then those Amiibo will unlock like special missions for those characters, and you'll be able to fly as the different pilots, especially in multiplayer. Huh. That's kind of like my guess there.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's pretty good. Well, what about you, Brant? What do you think will definitely happen for Nintendo?
Lock it in, folks.
Lock it in.
Hold on to your butts. Nah. A new Pokemon title, I think, is going to be announced. Something.
Do you think it's going to be a remake, kind of like what they've been doing with Gold and Silver and all this, or do you think it's going to be something new, kind of like what they did with Black and White?
No, I think it's going to be based off of Pokemon X and Y.
Oh,
they might call it like Z or something.
Okay.
I mean, I can see they're making a lot of money from these,
sure,
and so it only makes sense to expand upon that. I mean, that's what I think they'll do. I wish they would do something else with the Pokemon brand, but.
Yeah. More like a console Wii U game or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I think they might save that for like the NX or whatever. Because why put what everybody else is striving for with a Pokemon RPG to the Wii U when they know that's not going to really move units?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for me, guys, one thing that no one's mentioned yet, I think we will see Next Level Games, whatever they're working on. They did Punch-Out. They did Luigi's Mansion. They've actually did all those Mario sports games, like the Mario soccer game stuff back in the day. I'm trying to think what they would do. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a new Punch-Out, just because they've kind of dropped little hints here and there. They put Little Mac into Smash Brothers. They had in the newest video, Reggie was wearing like the pink hooded sweatshirt, and like they're just dropping these little hints that another Punch-Out is on the way. They're building hype for that again. And Next Level Games on their last Punch-Out for Wii was awesome, and everybody's been wanting to make another one. We have no idea what they're working on. My guess is it's going to be a new Punch-Out game from Next Level Games, because they've got to have something up their sleeve, and it probably will release this year, kind of like what they did with Super Mario 3D World a couple years ago.
Now that you say that makes sense, because especially in that video, Reggie was wearing the boxer shorts and going through training and everything. Yeah.
So we'll see. But, okay, Bobby, what do you think is not absolute, but you have a pretty good idea it's going to happen?
Animal Crossing Wii U.
Okay.
And I think they'll announce it. I don't think it'll release this year. I think I think we're looking at two things.
Okay.
If it comes this year, then it's going to be like right after E3, like an August game. But I think that with the Happy Home Designer, that's going to be that's going to kind of be like the holdover game. Sure. So I think that'll come in August, and I think we're going to see in early 2016 actually Animal Crossing for Wii U. I think it'll be complete Amiibo functionality. I think it'll utilize the cards that are coming with the home designer, but I also believe that they'll have figurines, more along the lines of like a Tom Nook and those characters as opposed to like actual villagers.
Okay.
In it, so that's what I think.
Cool. Well, what about you, Matt? What do you have for your pretty sure it's going to happen? Not definite.
Now, this doesn't necessarily have to do with games directly per se, but they're going to announce their new loyalty program.
Okay.
Yes.
And they're going to describe what that's like, and I think it's going to involve possibly winning rare amiibos.
Okay.
In that sense, like they might come out with some creative amiibos that you could get as prizes. I don't think it's going to work the same way as Club Nintendo, but I think it'll be like a combination of the ambassador program for the 3DS and possibly involve maybe rewards if you actually play games to an extent. Like you can earn certain things for maybe certain, not necessarily like new games or anything, but like certain add-ons, maybe stuff like that. But it's going to be something new creative. It's hard to guess, but I think they're going to go in depth on that on their new loyalty program.
Awesome. And Brant, what do you have, sir? Hit us with it.
We all know that the Amiibo craze is upon us, live and well. I don't know if Nintendo's already doing anything like this currently, but I think that they will come out with a game that's focused. Maybe it's free to download, and it actually corresponds to what Amiibos you have. So it's like a selection of mini games, but the actual character you have will be put in the game and you play as it. And I think they're going to do a little bit. Yeah, they're going to do something really huge with that, I think.
Okay.
And I think that'd just be a good idea in general, since everybody wants to collect them all, you know?
Awesome. Well, for mine, real quick, for my pretty sure it's going to happen, with the Wind Waker remaster coming out, selling pretty well, and people were really excited about it. I can see them, because they've talked about in the past, they were looking into remastering more GameCube games. I can see some more remasters coming to Wii U, whether it be Super Mario Sunshine or maybe the original Luigi's Mansion. I don't know what it is, but I think they're going to bring back more GameCube games because, one, they need more content, more software to sort of fill this year with the Zelda gap, but also it costs less to do because the game's already made. They just, a lot of that can be outsourced. So I can see them doing that, bringing more GameCube remasters back.
Star Fox Adventures.
There you go. Star Fox Adventures. Hey, that's a good game. I like that one. But, okay, last round. Make it quick. Bobby, what do you have for your crazy, I would like to see this happen prediction?
Mother 3 gets translated and brought to the United States.
Oh, mine.
I know you're a big fan of Mother 3.
That's a good one.
I think that with... They realized that with the outcry for Lucas in Smash, that they brought him in. They realize what they have there, and I think they finally are waking up to it. They see how big Ness is with the Amiibos, how they blew them out the door. It actually crashed GameStop.
Yes, it did.
When they tried to sell them, and then they basically bring back the Smash. They bring back Lucas for Smash. Yeah. Because of the outcry, I think that they recognize now that there is a huge outpouring for Earthbound Mother in the United States, and I think they finally make Earthbound 2, Mother 3, and they translate it and bring it. And I think they even remastered a little bit, upgrade it, up-res it, so to speak, and because it was originally on the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah,
I think they utilize it and they do it right, and I think they... whether I don't think they'll do HD graphics or anything like that, but I think they'll do like a 16-bit, type style.
Cool. Well, awesome. Matt, since he took yours, do you need a little more time to think? Should we move on to Brant first?
Well, I think I can still go with it because it wasn't directly mine.
Okay, what did you have?
It was relating to that series, though. I was going to say, if you look at it, Nintendo loves its history, and it seems to have stuck to main series, but after so many years, it always seems to bring back one. They did Kid Icarus Uprising a few years ago, which was the first Kid Icarus game in forever. Mm-hmm. They brought back Punch-Out, and those. F-Zero is one that's rumored, but I'm not going to go with that because I wasn't as much of a big fan of that series as some other people. But I would say, going off of the Earthbound Mother series, an actual... full-on RPG, because that's, other than Monster Hunter, I can't think of any major RPGs that are on the Wii U right now. At least that's especially first party. And I could see a full new Earthbound 2 or Mother 4, whatever it is, but with 3D world where you're those characters and you kind of traverse around.
That would be cool.
Something like that. That's what I'm thinking. I mean,
awesome. That's actually a pretty good one. Well, what do you got, Brant?
A Wii U price drop. No. Boom, no. I think it's necessary for them to... they're not even looking at staying up with PS4 or Xbox One. But I think it'd just be good just to get more systems out there because, like you guys have been saying, there are so many great games on this thing. And I think it would help, maybe not their financial bottom line, but just to get more systems out there, it could help the attach rate. It's just necessary. I don't know if they would be willing to do that.
And then would you pick one up with Splatoon then?
I think I'd have to convince Eli to say, beg for a nice
Wii
birthday.
U, right.
Christmas gift there.
Well, there you go. Well, real quick, just to cap this off, my crazy prediction that probably won't happen, but I'd like to see. They came out with Xenoblade Chronicles for the 3DS. And they showed off what the hardware could do. But since then, they haven't announced a single new 3DS exclusive. And I would love to see them do another game just because the install base isn't there. But remember, I don't know if you guys remembered, not too long ago, there was a rumor that Twilight Princess was going to come to the 3DS, only exclusive to the new 3DS. And I would absolutely love that. Because Twilight Princess, yes, is actually like my favorite Zelda. I've played through it so many times. And if they brought that to 3DS and made it a new 3DS exclusive, I'd be totally cool with that. Or honestly, any major game, Wii game that could be great to work on 3DS. I would love to see some more new 3DS exclusives because I bought it. I mean, I love it. I use it for Monster Hunter. Played through Majora's Mask on it. I love having that C stick and that extra power. But since I bought it, I haven't bought a lot of 3DS games since then. And I'd really like to see something that I know this is kind of like the swan song for the 3DS now, and whatever's coming out, whether it be the NX totally replacing their handheld division, we have no idea. I would love to see another game really push the hardware. So for me, I would really like to see another new 3DS exclusive.
Yeah, I don't know if that system could handle even Wii-powered games.
Well, the Xenoblade Chronicles, that game is massive. That's like a 100-plus hour adventure. The worlds are huge. And while it did look a little muddy on the 3DS, it was awesome to be able to, you can buy that to take with you in your hands now, which is pretty cool.
That's a good point.
So I would be super excited if they brought another game to that. But well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our predictions. Real quick, as we mentioned earlier in the show, talking about a Silver Mario Amiibo. If you stuck around this long and you are still interested in winning a Silver Mario Amiibo to hold in your hands, put on your shelf, what we're going to be doing with this episode of the podcast. We're going to share this episode of the podcast, the different ways you can find it on our social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, all the places you can find us. If you like the Life of Gaming page on Facebook and you share that, that will count as an entry into the contest. If you retweet it on Twitter, that'll count as an entry. And if you +1 it on our Google Plus page, that will also count as an entry. So on our next episode, next Friday, which will actually be our Xbox E3 show, we'll actually announce the winner at the beginning of the show. What I'm going to do, all the entries, we'll throw them in a hat, mix it up, and we'll pull one out. And that person will win the Silver Mario Amiibo. So absolutely make sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter and all that, and share those if you're interested in winning that Silver Mario Amiibo. So best of luck to you. But like I said, you guys, Bobby, thanks for coming, man. We loved having you back on the show. Hopefully you enjoyed for your second appearance on the show.
Hey, man, you know what? I was the first guest. And I was the first two-timer, so I'm good,
That's
man.
Right.
I'm setting records.
That's right, sir.
So it works for me.
Awesome. Well, you guys, make sure to check out Bobby's stuff, his YouTube page, his Facebook community group. Those contests you've got coming up. So make sure to check out his stuff. He's always putting out awesome content. Whether it's his, you just had your Bat Cave video you did.
Yeah, that was freaking awesome.
Yeah, you got your Amiibo videos, and of course, if you want to watch Bobby dance.
We could go without that.
Nobody wants to see you go without that. That was, it was comical.
Right. Well, Bobby, where can people find you at?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Geek Gurus.
Awesome. And Brant, where can people find you?
At _the Brant on Twitter.
Awesome. And Mr. Matt, where do people find you?
On Twitter at cpunkrock07.
And on our YouTube page.
Yeah, that too.
Check that out. And guys, you can follow me on Twitter at JamesPlus12. Make sure to follow the Life of Gaming podcast on Facebook and Google Plus, and on Twitter at Life of Gaming Pod. We are also on the iTunes store, so make sure to rate us on iTunes if you haven't done that yet. And then also you can find us on the Microsoft MP3 store, and we're also on SoundCloud. So if you want a place to listen to us, and we're also on YouTube as well, make sure to check us out in all those places. So hopefully you've enjoyed this wonderful E3 kickoff show. Like I said, next week we are going to have another special guest, and we will be doing our Xbox show. The week after that will be PlayStation. So until next time, guys, we hope you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, we are out.
Bye.
Later.